I'm here. Welcome to General Hospital Envy, my GH After show. GH didn't really air this week. I mean, we got one episode of GH in America. However, I am Canadian, so we technically got two. So I figured I will come here and talk to you about the first episode and release some spoilers about the second episode that you guys didn't see yet. And as to not keep things too short on GH Envy this week, I figured we should talk about the return of an actor that is imminent. So let's get into it. But before we do, weather update. It is only minus 17 now, so we're getting there. We're getting there, people. It's not as cold today. So, Peter confessed every crime he'd done committed to Valentine, and it appears that Valentine might actually keep it a secret from Anna and Maxie. And if he does, he is trash, and you can't change my mind about it. Meanwhile, Anna hounded Britt about Dr. Obrecht's whereabouts, but Britt was cool as a cucumber, and Anna said that the WSB wasn't giving her anything, and Britt pointed out, I wonder why the WSB wouldn't give you, their loyal servant of decades, any information about Dr. Obrecht. Gee, Anna, I wonder if it had anything to do with the fact that you hid evidence from the WSB that actually incriminates Peter. You know damn well that the WSB figured out that he was the one behind those crimes and that you covered it up in the first place and put an innocent, and I use that word lightly, woman in prison for Peter's crimes. This is all on you. Anyway, Anna was ready to skip town to track Dr. Obrecht down, and Finn was like, really? Just days before our wedding? He knows that you leave every year for 6 months at a time. This better not be one of your vacations, Finola. I will be pissed. By the way, we also saw some shots of Alex Merrick's will getting prepared, and she does leave a flash drive for Peter. So he is going to have a meltdown when he realizes both of his parents are actual trash. Although to be fair, so are Britt's, and Britt actually seems to have a conscience. I guess Peter is weak in that way. Meanwhile, Franco is still dealing with the fallout of the article being released. When he is going to get radiation, the technician refused to do it because apparently he was connected to someone that Franco murdered back in the day. Terry actually filed a complaint with HR about it and then went to Britt, and Britt said, we've already got him suspended and we're getting his termination papers ready. There is no room for people to dictate who gets treatment in my hospital. Terry and Elizabeth were both shocked. I guess Terry and Elizabeth now realize that behind all that snark, there's more snark, but behind all that snark, there's a heart. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody, by the way. I guess we should talk about that phone call that Nina made where Sunny answered. I don't think she realized that it was Sunny on the phone. Then he passes the phone to Phyllis, and she asks Phyllis to fly up. She was reluctant at first, but good old Mikey convinced her to do it. He was like, I'm on my meds, I'm calming down, I'm fine, I got it covered, you go. I'm sure eventually Nina will put two and two together and realize that it was Sunny, and will probably keep it a secret, but I guess we'll find out soon. Nina also had a conversation with Ava and told her that Nell was her daughter, and Ava did her best to be the voice of reason, saying there was nothing that she could do about Nell, that she couldn't have saved her, and to not blame herself for it. Ava being the voice of reason, what world are we in? Oh yeah, that reminds me, Carly actually told Jocelyn that Nell was Nina's daughter and that she and Jax tried to cover it up and hide it from Nina. Jocelyn was kind of okay with it. I mean, I can't blame her at this point. Everything that she's been through in the last few years is pretty messed up. She's just like, it's just another day in the life of a Corinthos, I guess. That poor kid. Alright, well that was Monday's episode in a nutshell. Now we're going to be diving into what would have been Tuesday's episode that we got here in Canada. So there are some spoilers coming up ahead. If you guys don't want to hear some spoilers, we can end it here and I will catch you guys on Wednesday. But for the rest of y'all, let's get into it. We're not going to get too much into it. I mean, we're going to talk about it more next week, obviously, but I will summarize it quickly for y'all. So Tuesday's episode was all about Sunny's friends and family preparing for the funeral. It showed all the emotional beats, everyone sharing their stories about Sunny and, you know, getting ready for the funeral itself. Everything that you'd expect to see in the first 5 minutes of a funeral episode, except it was drawn out the entire hour. We also see Sunny getting blamed for robberies happening in the town that he's staying in, and surprisingly, Phyllis's jerk of a husband actually goes up to bat for him, but it's not enough for the cop to not be suspicious of him. Funny enough, the cop actually brings up the fact that they should have taken his fingerprints when they met up with him in the first place. I'm still trying to figure out why the cops don't even recognize who Sunny Corinthos is, since he's supposed to be the biggest crime boss on that side of the map. At least this cop is kind of shady, and he grabs a coffee mug that Sunny was supposedly using and takes it so that they can actually get fingerprints, which I'm fine with because that'll actually move the storyline along. Thank goodness, I think we're all sick of it at this point. Personally, I wanted to see Sunny show up at his own funeral just like Carly did back in the day, but I guess we're probably not going to see that. The only real break we got from Sunny Corinthos this episode was Nina talking to Phyllis about Nell. She shows her old pictures of Nell and shows her a picture of Frank Benson and asks if she recognizes him, which she does. She recognizes him as the man that she gave the baby to. So I guess that kind of confirms that Nell was her daughter. Although a DNA test, probably a better choice at this point. She does explain to Phyllis that Jax actually covered it up from her, but Phyllis convinces her to go to Jax because he was only looking out for her best interest and it wasn't out of malice. So she actually goes to the church to meet up with Jax, but I think she's about to overhear something about Nell, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, now let's talk about an actor that is returning to the show. Chad Brannon, who used to play Xander Smith, aka Cameron's father on General Hospital, is reprising the role, and while we don't know all the details other than he's returning sometime in March, or he's going to air in March, I think it's safe to say that he's most likely playing a ghost figure of Xander and will probably appear to Cameron, who we last saw declaring that he's going to protect his family by any means necessary. Cameron is clearly on the verge of making some reckless decisions, and we know where he most likely got most of those traits from. I mean, to be fair, Elizabeth was pretty reckless too, but Xander! Xander actually died back in 2004, I believe, in Emily's arms, but the last time that we saw Chad Brannon on the show, he actually played a character named Aaron back in 2009, who was on an airplane with Rebecca Shaw, aka Emily's twin sister. I'm pretty sure it was just like a cheeky nod, but who knows, I guess he could possibly come back as Aaron, I doubt it. And if he were to come back as Aaron, I think Natalia Livingston would also come back as Rebecca Shaw. So, I mean, that could be fun, wreaking havoc on Elizabeth and Nicholas' lives a little bit, but I don't think that's the route that they're going on. Anyway, how do you guys think Chad Brannon will return to the show? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, that about wraps things up this week. Hopefully next week we'll have a lot more to talk about when it comes to the show. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. And I will catch you guys this Wednesday for another GHMV Reacts. Peace out. Congratulations.